In this video, I'm going to be going over what your moon sign means and how you can apply this to your own life, some of the traits and aspects from your moon sign, and how your moon sign differs from your sun and rising. So let's just jump right into it. Yo, what's good everybody? It's your boy Noah, back again with another YouTube video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. If you guys are new to my channel, welcome. I help people awaken to their true abilities through wellness and spirituality, aka Noah's Ark. And I'm super excited to be presenting you guys with this video today because in this video, I'm going to be talking about your moon sign, what that means in astrology, in tropical astrology, and how you can use your moon sign to your advantage. And this is going to be part 2 of my 3-part series that I'm doing on this channel, where I'm talking about your sun, moon, and rising sign and how they kind of differ a little bit. I want to put a disclaimer up here because your moon sign is only one aspect of your chart, right? So this only is going to be able to describe one aspect of your chart. It's a very important aspect, but it's only one. There's multiple, and there's a bunch of different aspects of your chart that you need to look into. If you want to look into your natal chart, there's a bunch of websites where you have to know your birth time, your birthplace, all that stuff. But you can look at your whole chart if you want a more understanding perspective of this. But moon sign is only one aspect. So if this doesn't sound like it resonates with you, it might not resonate with you because it's only one aspect. And so if it's afflicted or something, or there's a bunch of different things going on, yeah. So just wanted to get that out there before I make this video. But I wanted to make the moon sign series because it's important for us to know not just our sun sign, but our moon sign and our rising sign as well, because these are the big 3 aspects within our chart that kind of paint a bigger picture of kind of who we are and our personality traits. I also want to say this, that don't be so fixated on your sign, right? This is a fun video that I like doing, and I like sharing with you guys astrology and talking about astrology, but understand that we are much more than our signs. We are much more than our zodiac signs. And so keep that in mind when you're watching this video. Everybody is a spiritual being having a human experience, and so we are a lot more than our signs. With all that being said, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about your moon sign. What is your moon sign, right? This might be a question that a lot of you guys might be asking. Your moon sign governs your emotional state, and it governs your emotional needs, right? It governs how you are able to become nurtured and how you nurture other people. That's kind of what your moon sign means. So let's just jump right into it. Aries being the very first sign of the zodiac. If your moon sign is in Aries, your emotional needs are probably met through competitiveness, right? It's probably met through leadership. You want to be the boss, you want to be in control. And so your emotional needs are catered towards that of trying to be in control of other people, trying to be in, not of other people per se, but of certain things, right? You want to be in control of certain things. Your emotional needs are met when you feel like you're in control, when you feel like you're the one who's taking the lead. And a lot of Aries Moon people are people who are just naturally, leaders, right? It can be people who just have that desire to be in control. Be careful of wanting to be too much in control with every type of situation that you're in. Don't be afraid to let go of the reins a little bit, and let other people take control of whatever it is the situation is. That's what the moon in Aries is. It's a pretty prominent placement. I would say any fire sign that has a moon placement is benefit, it's a good position. But that's what the Aries moon sign is about. Next up, we're going into Taurus. Now, I talked about Taurus in my sun video, and I said that it is ruled by Venus, which is the planet of beauty, creativity, money, wealth, possessions, all of that. This being a moon placement, it's exalted in this position, meaning that if your moon sign is in Taurus, then it becomes stronger because the moon governs your emotional needs and it governs your emotional security, what you need in order to feel secure. Taurus here is very welcomed, because Taurus is a nurturing sign, right? On its own right. And a lot of successful people actually have this placement, moon in Taurus or moon in the 2nd house. it represents your, you know, your emotional needs. And for Taurus, that's going to look like needing material security in order to feel safe. Your needs are going to be met through physical pleasures. They're going to be met through wanting to eat a lot, wanting to have sex, right? Wanting to, just anything that has to do with all five senses, smell, touch, taste. All of that is going to be ruled by Taurus because it's your moon placement. But this can actually breed a lot of success in people because your emotional needs are going to be met through providing for yourself, right? So you feel secure if you have money, right? You feel secure if you have a place to eat, you know? Taurus being my sun sign, I can relate to this on a personal level because I will literally, I'm that type of person that will spend like their last $10 on a nice meal for myself, right? And I feel like you guys can relate to this if this is your moon sign. Overall, it's a great position. I would say that the one negative to this position is make sure that you aren't obsessing too much over material possessions. This is something that Taurus can struggle with in general because it is a materialistic type of sign. You know, all of its basic needs are met through materialism, but just make sure that you're not too focused on the material realm and leave some room for the others, right? Leave some material success for other people. Moving on to the third sign, which is Gemini. Geminis, if you have this moon sign, this is actually one of the most difficult positions to have the moon sign in because the moon is such a nurturing and comforted and emotional sign. It doesn't do as well in this placement just because Geminis are somebody who, you know, they're very good with people, and so your emotional needs are going to be met through showing face and kind of making sure that everybody's okay. But with this, it can actually breed a lot of you not being able to take care of yourself, right? And so that's how it might manifest. You want to be able to take care of other people, but you end up disregarding your own emotional needs and your own emotional security. And so this is why this moon placement is a little bit tough because you never really know, you know, it rules your emotions. And whenever somebody has this placement of a Gemini moon, you really never know how somebody is feeling, you know, and sometimes that is good if you're in a public setting or if you're in a work setting, right? It works. But if you're in personal relationships or you have a relationship with a deep personal relationship with your loved ones, you know, this can be a tough position for you because no one really ever knows what you're actually going through. You know, you could show, but that's what Geminis are good at. They're good at saving face, you know, they're good at showing a certain perspective when they actually feel a different way. And so this is why the moon has a tough time here. I will say the positive for this position though is that your emotional needs are met through creativity, right? So you might be feel secure whenever you're writing. You might feel secure whenever you have the floor in order to speak. And so that overall, that's what Gemini moon is about. Moving on to Cancer. If you are a Cancer moon, Cancer is actually ruled by the moon, right? So this is one of the best placements, if not the best placement for the moon, other than Taurus moon. Cancer moon is the best placement for your moon sign. So if you have a Cancer moon, very benefic sign, you are the stereotypical nurturer, right? You are the stereotypical person who is gonna be there for others. You're gonna be able to nurture other people while being able to nurture yourself. You know, this sign is very, very emotional. You know, they're able to connect and able to be in tune with other people's very easily. They're able to be in tune with other people very easily. They're very instinctual, right? If there's something off, you're gonna be able to feel it like that. If there's somebody that feels down, or if there's somebody who feels like they're not in the right, you feel like somebody's not in the right place, or you feel like something's off in your personal relationships, you're gonna be able to sense it like that, you know? This moon sign is very much a catering type of sign, you know, so it's just a very benefic place for the moon to be. So if you have this moon sign, it is very beneficial to you. These people are very loyal people. They're very nice to be around. They can be a little bit hard to get on their good side because Cancer can be a very sensitive sign, so your emotions might be very sensitive. You might be someone who's a little bit more moody, but overall, whenever a Cancer, you know, is your friend, they will treat you really good, especially if this is your moon sign. So that's what I got for Cancers. Leos are next up. Shout out to all my Leos out there. If you are a Leo moon, this is your moon sign. This is, your emotions are ruled by feeling the need to stand out. You know, your emotional nature is that of which, when you can be your true authentic self, you know, when you can express yourself creatively, that's when you feel at home. That's when you can connect with other people. That's when you can open up and kind of let your guard down, when you're able to express yourself, you know, and you're able to be the star of your own show and your own movie. And this is one of the, not one of the most powerful placements, but it's a good placement to have, being a Leo moon, depending on what house it's in. Leo moon is somebody who emotional needs are met through self-expression, like I said, creative self-expression, and you might find that you become a lot more likable whenever you are expressing yourself through those creative hobbies. You want to be nurtured through the attention of other people. One thing that this moon sign has to work on, though, is to make sure that you're not being too overly invested with other people's reactions. If there are people who don't like you or people who don't respect what it is that you're doing, you have to work on letting that go, and you have to work on kind of not allowing everybody's negative reactions to affect you and bother you. But once you can get to this point where you can express yourself creatively and you feel at home when you're doing this, and you don't really care what other people think about you, then that's when you're gonna thrive, and you're overall just gonna be a lot more generous with people as well. And so yeah, that's what I got for my Leo moons out there. Moving on to the 6th sign of the zodiac, which is Virgo. Virgo moon. This is kind of a little bit of a tough position because it's a very practical sign, right? So your emotional needs are going to be met through doing all of the detail-oriented work. You know, you have to notice every single little thing within your life in order for you to thrive. You feel like you have to get every single thing done. So your emotional state, your emotional needs are going to be met through routine, right? Virgos always have to have a routine. Virgos have to always be able to do something. So if your moon sign is in Virgo, you have to get a specific routine going. You know, you have to have a routine that you stick to, that you enjoy doing, and this is going to help you out automatically. I will say that one of the struggles with this sign is that they can tend to be perfectionists, and this is something that I noticed, that I mentioned in my sun sign video, but these guys can be perfectionists. They can be too focused on perfecting what it is that they're working on, you know. So have a routine, but if you miss a day, that's okay, right? Or if there's something that you don't do that's off, or if there's one little detail that you miss, it's okay, right? Don't freak out. It's not a huge deal. But overall, that's what this sign's about. It's a very detail-oriented sign, and so your needs are going to be met through doing routine, just doing detail-oriented work. And so that might be something that you find interesting and something that you might connect to. So that's what I have for Virgo moons. The next sign, which is the 7th sign, is Libra moons. If your moon sign is in the sign of Libra, this is a position where you enjoy peace. Your emotional needs are met if everybody else in the room is okay, right? You need to make sure that everybody is fine. If there's any type of fighting, if there's any type of disagreement, if there's any type of argument, whether it's your career, whether it's in your family, whether it's in your friend group, if there's any type of disagreement, you are automatically going to step in and make sure that that's not happening, right? You are the peacekeepers. You are very easy to get along with. This is a pretty good moon sign, I would say, in general, because your emotional needs are met when everybody else, when you're in a setting of peace, when you're living in an environment that's peaceful, when you are living in an environment that there's no fights, nobody's getting upset at each other, because that is your instinctual, that's what your emotional needs are going to be met based off of. They're going to be based off of how other people are feeling. If you do hear my family in the background, I apologize for that. I live with a few people in my house, but yeah, so something that they would need to work on, though, is being able to express themselves a little bit more bluntly. You know, they could work on being a little bit more open and honest with how they truly feel, because sometimes, this is what I said in my sun sign video too, Libras will say things that they don't necessarily mean in order to keep the peace. And sometimes this can be the detriment to their own emotional needs not being met. So just make sure, if you are a Libra moon, that you are expressing yourself authentically, because people will respect you a lot more if you say that it is how you feel versus trying to save face just to keep the peace in the friend group. And so yeah, that's what I got for Libras. the number 8 sign, which is the sign of Scorpio. And man, Scorpio moons. This is a sign that is really tough. It's actually, this moon sign is debilitated here, meaning that it loses its power. And it doesn't mean that it's negative or positive. It just means that it's not as strong here, because Scorpios tend to be very, very secretive, and the moon wants to be able to express its emotional needs. And so Scorpio being here, it's a sign that is very, very intense, right? It can be very intense. Your emotions are run super, super high. You're a very emotional person, but you tend to close off to other people. So nobody knows that you're, you know, depressed, right? Nobody's gonna know that you're feeling genuinely happy if your moon sign is in this sign. One of the pluses with this sign is that they're very passionate people. They're very emotional. They are very loyal, right? So if you get on a Scorpio moon's good side, they're not gonna let you go, right? It's a sign that is very reserved, they're very secretive, so they tend to be very secretive with their emotions. That's why it's hard for Scorpio moons to be able to connect with people on an emotional level, because they are so secretive with their emotions and kind of how they feel. But once they're able to express themselves emotionally and they're comfortable with being able to let people in, then that is when they actually benefit from this placement. And you know, Scorpios, like I said before, it's one of the toughest signs to have, period, because it is the sign of transformation. You know, they always go through a lot of shit, and a lot of the time Scorpios don't understand why all of these negative things are happening to them. But the reality of the situation is that the reason why Scorpios go through a lot of negative things is because it is the universe transforming them into somebody great. You know, the universe is trying to take you and put you as an example for people who don't believe in themselves, right? And people who don't have inspiration, right? Scorpios are the ultimate sign of transformation, and so they can invoke transformation within others. And this is why it's such a hard placement, and this is also why a lot of people don't relate to Scorpios. So that's Scorpio moons. Love you guys. It is debilitated in this placement, but don't let that, you know, affect you. Like I said, it's just one aspect of your sign, so don't take this too personally. The 9th sign of the zodiac is the sign of Sagittarius. Now Sagittarius is, ooh man, if Sagittarius are party animals, man. This is the life of the party. And when your moon sign is placed here, this is actually a placement that I have. I am actually a Sagittarius moon, and these people love, their emotional needs are going to be met whenever they're able to express themselves, whenever they're able to travel, whenever they're able to be independent. You know, this is where they're really going to thrive. They're really going to thrive off of being able to be independent. Sagittariuses can't be held down. And so your emotional needs are going to be met whenever you're able to be in a relationship where your partner allows you to do a lot of different things. Whenever your partner allows you to do, there's not a lot of restrictions on the relationship. This is where you're going to thrive. And same with the job setting. Same with, you know, if you're a Sagittarius moon watching this right now, you probably don't like people telling you what to do, because your emotional state needs to be met through your independence. You know, you're the life of the party, so you enjoy being able to travel, you enjoy being able to do things on your own. And this is a sign where needs need to be met through stimulation, a lot of stimulation. This moon sign specifically needs a lot of thrills. This moon sign tends to be very indulgent. These people tend to overly spend a lot. They also tend to indulge in things like food, indulge in things like money, indulge in things like sex. Anything that gives them a lot of serotonin, right, the feel-good chemical. A lot of these people are going to thrive off of doing things that make them feel good. That's what I'm trying to say. And so with this placement, something that they have to work on is being able to restrict themselves a little bit, being able to kind of hold back on the fun, right? And be able to balance being restrictive versus having fun. You know, it's okay to indulge every once in a while, but they need to learn to be a little bit more restrictive and a little bit more disciplined when it comes to indulging in certain things, because they can end up becoming addicted very easily. Other than that, obviously it's a benefic moon placement if it's your boys, but anyways, moving on to the 10th sign. Whereas Sagittarius is a lot less restrictive, Capricorn comes in as the most restrictive sign, because Capricorn is actually ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the planet of restriction. It's the planet of commitment. It's also the planet of discipline. And so your moon sign being here, your emotional needs are going to be met through restricting yourself, you know, being able to do the hard work. Any placement with Capricorn, it's a pretty good placement if you are talking about your career, right? If you want to achieve career success, Capricorn is a good placement for you, especially if it's in your moon sign, because your emotional needs are going to be met through doing the hard work, right? Capricorn is one of the most hard-working signs in the zodiac because it rules the 10th house of career. So it's always trying to climb the corporate ladder. And with your moon sign here, it's a little bit tough because you're not able to be very, very emotional with a lot of people. You know, you might find that it's hard to connect on an emotional level with people with Moon in Capricorn because you're very practical. You know, you don't like going into the metaphysical realm, right? Capricorn's a very grounded and it's a very practical sign, and sometimes one of their weaknesses is not being open to the spiritual realm and not being open to spiritual knowledge and spiritual success. Just spirituality in general is something that they can struggle with, but once they're able to incorporate your emotional needs being met by hard work, then they can kind of be able to balance that. And balance is a key thing for Capricorn moons because we're all spiritual beings having a temporary human experience, and when a Capricorn is able to understand that, then that is when they're going to be able to achieve success within this lifetime. And so with this moon placement, one of the, you know, hard things for them is going to be able to connect with other people. But one of the benefits of this placement is they're hardworking people. They're going to do everything that they can in order to be in a position where they can succeed, right? Because it's a sign of material success. That is my Capricorn moons for you. Moving on to the 11th sign of the zodiac, which is the Aquarius. Aquarius is definitely an interesting position for the moon. It's not a negative position, but it can be a little bit difficult when you run into an Aquarius moon, just because they aren't emotional people, right? They're not somebody who is very, very emotional. They're very detached to a lot of different things. One thing that's really good about Aquarius moon is that their emotional needs are going to be met through unconventionality, right? Doing things that their own way. Their emotional needs are also going to be met through doing things their own way, but also being able to be a part of something great, right? These people are the water bearers, and so their emotional needs are going to be met when they're able to teach people how to do things. That's what Aquariuses are all about. They're jack of all trades. They're able to pick up things very, very quickly, and this is one of their strongest traits, is being unique and being unoriginal, because this is actually what makes them pioneers to a lot of the crafts that they have within their own life. And Aquarius here, the tough thing about this is that they can be too focused on their own ideas that they end up detaching from their emotional needs. Their emotional needs are going to be met whenever they are able to do their own thing, right? And they're able to be free because they don't like being tied down. Once again, guys, sorry about that. My camera died. Apparently there's only so many videos that I can record in one day. But let's just jump right back into the video. I was finished talking about Aquarius. Next and final zodiac sign that we're going to be getting into today for our moon sign video is Pisces. So shout out to you if you are a Pisces moon. The moon does really well in this position naturally because the moon is a very emotional and it's a very nurturing sign. And what are some of the main characteristics of water signs is that they're very emotional. They also tend to be very nurturing, right? And so moon does really well in this position specifically. So in order for a Pisces moon to get their emotional needs met, they need to be able to express themselves majestically. And Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is the sign of mysticism. It's a sign of dreaminess, right? It's the sign of delusion in a way. It's the sign of the metaphysical realm, right? And Pisces is the most spiritual / religious sign in the zodiac. And so when you have the moon here, it suggests a very dreamlike emotional state, meaning that you can be very intuitive. You know, this is a very intuitive placement. Pisces moons are able to read you like that. You know, Pisces are probably the most intuitive sign, and so when you put this in your moon sign, it gives a lot of dreamlike flair to your emotions. You might feel that you can relate to people very easily because you see everything. You know how someone's feeling before even getting to speak to them, right? You know exactly how they're feeling. The intuitive nature of a Pisces is very on point. They have the BS detector, right? They know what's going on. And so when you have your moon placement here, your emotional needs are catered towards your creativity, your creative abilities. I would recommend a Pisces moon to get good at meditation. You know, this can benefit you and it can allow you to observe your emotions and be able to tend to your own needs. Something that a Pisces moon can struggle with is being direct. They can struggle with kind of expressing how they feel on a real level, you know, and sometimes Pisces moons can be so caught up in the metaphysical realm because it is such a spiritual sign that they have trouble grounding themselves. And this can be an issue with Pisces moon people. They're very dreamy, they're very creative, they have extraterrestrial type of creativity within them, but they need to learn to be able to hone in on their emotions and to kind of learn to be grounded a little bit and not live so heavily within the metaphysical realm. And once they can learn how to balance the physical realm with the metaphysical realm, then they can actually become very powerful. And so that's going to sum up this video. Moon signs through the zodiac signs. If you resonated with this, make sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't as well. Before I go, I'm gonna let you guys know that this is only your moon sign, right? It's only one placement in your astrological chart. So if this was really inaccurate, make sure to click on the video that I did before this, which is the sun sign, and then make sure to click on the video that I'm gonna post later after this, which is your rising sign, to give you a better description of what your personality is like. You know, if you didn't resonate with this, then you might want to check those videos, because your sun and rising sign is going to give you a little bit more of a glimpse into how you are externally, you know, how you present yourself, how you express yourself, especially with your rising sign. You know, you can tell a lot about a person based off of their rising sign, and so make sure to check out those videos. With all that being said, guys, I want to give a huge shout out to each and every one of you guys, because the amount of support that I've received on my page has been amazing, and I want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys. You guys are amazing. The amount of support, the amount of comments, views, likes, subscriptions that I've been gaining this past couple of months have been truly amazing, and it makes me feel good that I can come on here and inspire you guys and make a living from it. So once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns for future videos that you want me to make, feel free to comment them down in the description box below. I am gonna have timestamps for your moon sign. I probably should have said that at the beginning, but so make sure to hit me up if you have any suggestions for future videos, as well as make sure to DM me on Instagram. My DMs are open now, but I can't guarantee that they'll be open here in the near future, so make sure to DM me while you can. With all that being said, my friends, have a wonderful afternoon, morning, or night, wherever you're at. And peace, love, and happiness. Mwah.